Hi and welcome. This time around we have another project modifying a fixture designed for the laser welding company. This one's different than anything else I've done so far to date. These profiles, these material profiles here, you can see here, are, this being the simplest one, are all made of individual pieces of stainless steel. So this piece here is made from one piece here, a vertical piece, and then a horizontal piece. And these have to be welded on, and the straightness of the material is very important. They get sandblasted after final finish, so that the weld and all the debris left over by welding is gone, or discoloration. Here is another profile, one piece, middle piece, top piece. Also one piece, middle piece, top piece. So these are two weld operation pieces, two weld operation pieces, two weld operation pieces, and then the simplest, the T profile here. This one looks like it's symmetrical, but I believe the actual part that they want for the manufacturer is not symmetrical like this. This is a two-part piece, and so they sent me the fixture to modify for this one first. They had fixtures made for them by their vendor in China who custom makes all of their design fixtures, but it wasn't working out. It was a prototype and it's not working out, so I need to modify it. We're going to look at the fixture that holds this vertical piece and this horizontal piece in place while they're being welded. Here's the fixture we're going to modify. This fixture bolts to a machine that was custom built that has in-feed and out-feed rollers that align the pieces of metal roughly before they hit the weld box. I think that's what they call this, the weld box. That's their name. It's sort of a custom name for this fixture. I don't know that that's what it's officially called anywhere, but that's what they're calling it. So this piece is, this fixture, like I said, is designed for this simple T profile here. And this is made up of two pieces of metal, the vertical 1/8 inch and the horizontal 3/16 inch stainless steel. This is 304 stainless, I believe. And you'll notice the design, which is sort of consistent, is that each of the pieces that press against these plates, like the part that goes top down, this one has rollers, and there's two bolts here that pull this guy up, and two bolts that push down to set the height on it and keep it rigid and in place. So the top has rollers, but the sides are all friction, and that's part of our problem here, is there's a lot of friction going through this weld box. Also, interestingly enough, actually this weld box is rotated 180. You'll notice it's symmetrical. That's because it's designed to have two lasers simultaneously weld. One welds this side, and the other one welds this side, putting a bead down each side simultaneously. Now, as you can imagine, once you weld, even laser welding puts a fair amount of heat in the material if you want to get penetration. So there is some distortion. So after this process, going through this weld box and the welders, you have to, once again, straighten the material through a whole nother machine they've had custom built, and the first one didn't work right, so they're having a second one built that is going to straighten all this material, because the verticality of this centerpiece is very important on all the profiles. And the height, the thickness, the overall thickness is also important. Also, it tends to cup because a lot of these pieces aren't symmetrical. So this T piece is symmetrical here, but a lot of these, you'll notice, are not symmetrical. So when you weld and you heat here and here, there's a lot more material over here that doesn't get heated as much. So when this side shrinks, it tends to cup the whole piece in this direction, and you also have some cupping in this direction. Great combination, and you have to straighten all of that. We're not going to deal with the straightening aspect of it. The laser enters the fixture here, and this piece slides through here, or these two pieces of material slide through here. They actually slide from this side over here, which currently is set too tight. It's adjustable. So this side is fixed right here, and this side is completely adjustable, but it's too tight right now, so that needs to be fixed as well, but that's a whole nother thing. They use soft steel for these parts where the stainless steel is sliding on, and as a result, the parts are abrading. The stainless steel is very abrasive material, and the finish on this, you know, is rough mill finish. So it's abrading this soft steel quite quickly. So the wear problems inside here are not the only problem. Currently, the laser tube enters from, well, one laser tube enters from each side here. These are fiber lasers, and this is just the head that protects the safety glass back here. And if that glass gets any dirt on it, that's a huge problem, because dirt allows the laser, if the laser hits dirt on the lens, it creates a hot spot that can damage the lens. So the lenses are getting damaged a lot. That's one of the problems. Another problem is that this weld, which they were hoping they could just melt existing material to do it, actually needs to have a wire feeder added onto it. And the wire feed comes from this side, except that with this piece in here, you can't get the wire feed in here. It won't make it. So we're going to open this cut in this part here down further so that this whole assembly can slide down this direction, so that hopefully the wire feeder can get in here with the laser head. Now wait, there's still more. So remember I was saying that you know, the laser is hitting this material, and this material is exploding out of the weld joint. And that cloud of material, even though there's positive pressure inside this tube blowing dry nitrogen through this tube, it still managed to get debris up and damage that element, and they've had to replace elements way too many times. Almost every time they run the machine for any extended period of time, they're losing the element on that go around. And the elements aren't super expensive. I think they're paying like 25 bucks a piece or 50 bucks a piece for them, but it's adding up really quickly. The solution for this is, besides having the wire feeder over here, is to add an air blast over here. And in fact, the wire feeder comes from this side. The material is fed in this direction, so the wire feeder will be coming from this side, and the air blast, I need to create an adapter that will fit on this tube, will come from this side. But all this needs to be able to fit down into that joint. So we have to relieve a lot of material out of both sides of this guy so that this combination can fit in there. And I can see this thing's already been hit and got some other debris on it. You can see even inside here, I don't know if you can, but there's all kinds of stainless steel debris that's been exploded out by the laser welding process. And that was before they added the wire feed. The wire feed's going to add an additional amount of material. Then I think they changed this gas to argon. Maybe it was argon already. Actually, I don't know what gas they're feeding. I was saying dry nitrogen, but it may not be. It might very well be argon. Anyway, so we need to modify both sides of this fixture to accept this. We also need to fix the abrasion issue, where this is wearing way too much. And we also need to fix the smoothness, the sliding issue. So the abrasion and the sliding issue, how tight this thing is, may be fixable together. Our problem with abrasion and sliding resistance might get fixed simultaneously, because if we used hardened material to hold this guy in line with where we want it to be, we might solve the problem simultaneously, because hardened material is going to have less friction, because this material is not going to cut into it and scoop out little pieces. And at the same time, since it's not less friction and not scooping out material, it's going to abrade it less. So this has hardly been used at all. It's had maybe 100 and 150 feet of material go through it. It's going to have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of feet of material go through it. And I don't know how often it's going to have to be rebuilt, but the amount of wear this is seen with just like 100 feet going through it is already pretty significant. So anyways, we're going to try and address all three of those. So the top part of the fixture is easily removed from the bottom part of the fixture, just with these 4 screws. The fit and finish is extremely good. These may be Chinese-made parts, but they're pretty tight tolerance. I'm very impressed at the build quality, actually, other than the poor choice of materials. Although I don't know with spec, but the company was tasked with designing these parts, and they shouldn't have used soft steel, which they did. Okay, so this piece comes off of here. So this piece here, you can already see extensive scoring. You can feel it with your fingernail. There's extensive scoring inside here where this flat piece has been riding here. So we need to fix that. It's also riding right here, and you can see some scoring right there as well. And then vertically it's held in place by these two pieces, and you can't see the damage to those until I take this out, but there is a fair amount of damage there as well. So we need to open up these gaps over much farther, and then figure out how to make a sliding support that will also support the material as well as not have too much friction. And this is the first I've had this apart, so it's a little more complicated because this piece here is held side to side, not just by the, see, because remember, this piece won't be welded when it first goes in, so the top part here is held left to right by these two pieces here. So if you relieve all this back, it won't support it all the way. Hopefully this little run we've got here will be enough to support it, and we got to figure that part out. Because if it's too short, then this thing could potentially twist in here. The top piece could twist while the bottom piece is held between here and not end up being held straight. So we got to make sure we get that all taken care of. I pulled off the adjuster bolts, and now you can see that this piece rides in here between these two guys, but only engages with the very top port of it. So this bottom piece, this definitely needs to be replaced with something harder, because something harder will have less friction, and it's held centered by these bottom two pieces. Then this piece is held pinched between these two pieces and the top rollers. Now it should be a little clearer. You can see the rollers on the top. They push down on this piece. These two pieces pinch side to side on the top section, and the bottom section, which is just below this, there's maybe 50 to 100 thousandths of material sticking up proud. The bottom one is held by this piece and these two side pieces. And two side pieces are adjustable and two are fixed. There's also a lot of grease and oil on this, which seems like a bad idea to have around a laser welding process because it could easily pollute the weld. So we're going to clean these parts, but I don't know if we're going to rebuild these pieces from scratch, or are we going to just find some way to add some hardened material on the areas where they contact the parts. So this one, the bottom of this doesn't touch the bottom part at all. So it could pop up, but it'll be forced down by the rollers on top. So that's probably not an issue. So the friction surfaces are going to be here, 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 and the inside here, and the inside here. All right, so we're ready to start making these parts, like this sample part I 3D printed here. So we're going to remake these pieces, and got myself some D2 tool steel here. It's all rough cut, and we're going to dimension it, and then we're going to start making replacements. All right, so we've rough ground the 5 parts, and I did learn a couple things. I ground them because I wanted to learn more about grinding, because I'm very inexperienced at it. They were fairly square to begin with. Within a few thousandths, probably would have been more than adequate. And I could have just machined them using like end mills or a fly cutter or something to size. But instead I chose to grind them because I need practice. So I found out that when the grinding wheel is not dressed adequately, it starts to bite across the whole wheel a lot more. And the noise changed, and I noticed it was sort of subtle, but it turns out that like every side you do, you're gonna have to redress the wheel. And I did like the top and the bottom, and then started doing the flat faces. And I didn't realize that I had to do that. And it was starting to take huge bites to the point where it was loading the motor down. And I have a 3 horsepower motor on my surface grinder, which is quite a big one. So that was a good lesson. When the noise changes, time to redress your wheel, or you're taking too big a bite, or both.